700 ESPN, 1080 ESPN, and on the web at 700ESPN.com, both audio and video streaming. It's Patch and Lukens and Oso. The NBA Finals for you on 700 ESPN coming up at 5 o'clock. Mariner Baseball coming up for you at 5:30 right here. Coming up on Hoop Fest weekend will be the A-Plus Classic, benefiting the fine folks at the aplusyouthprogram.org is their website, helping kids in the Northwest. And Spencer Hawes, former University of Washington Husky and current member of the Philadelphia 76ers, joining us on Patch and Lukens and Oso. Spencer, thanks for being here. I guess by coming on the show, you're playing, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna be over there. I'm very excited. To have the game in Spokane this year. It was the last year, the first one. I think was a success over at Key Arena, but it's going to be fun heading over to Hoop Fest. We've all heard such great things about it, and how the city really comes alive for that event, and we can't wait to be a part of it.
Was it a little harder to maybe talk you into playing in the game in Spokane? Because last time you were here, a 20-point loss for the Huskies. I'm just saying, the last time you were here was it your best day? I mean, you had a great game, but Gonzaga got you here.
Yeah, every time there's an exception to every rule, and they got us a little bit about 6 years ago now, but it's all right. It's gonna be fun to be back over there, back over playing Spokane.
Now we couldn't let you not answer one question about Gonzaga.
I was waiting for it.
I didn't think we'd get it that early in the interview. Spencer,
did
you
at least butter me up first?
Oh no, we just get after it right away.
Did you ever play in Hoop Fest as a kid?
No, never did. It was always something, the timing as it falls when you get into the AAU circuit, and really that's, this stretch coming up is the busiest time for travel tournaments and stuff, so I was never able to make it over there for the 3-on-3 tournament.
Yeah, because we in Spokane know how big it is, but I don't think people in Spokane realize how basketball players – starting at a youth level, talk about Hoop Fest like we need to go over there, we need to play in that.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it seems like every year it just gets bigger and bigger, and the draw increases even more and more. So I wish I would have been able to take part, a few years ago, but it's just going to be fun observing it and seeing what everyone's talking about.
Being a guy who grew up in Seattle and you went to Seattle Prep, but where do you spend your off seasons back home in the Northwest, or what do you do?
I do. I actually, pretty much as soon as the season gets over with, I'm on the first inning smoking back in Seattle, and I always said when I was a kid, I was like, I want to move, I want to go live somewhere else, and then as soon as I moved away, I realized how special it is, and this is where I make my home now, and I envision for the rest of my life.
I don't know when you committed to playing this game, but you darn near were going to have a hard time making it. You guys made quite the run in the postseason this year.
Yeah, it was fun. We came up a little bit short in Game 7 with a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I think, for our team and the ups and downs we had last year, to finish on that note, it's very positive heading into the off season and seeing what's going to happen with the team and the roster moves that go on.
Spencer Hawes joining us. He'll be part of the team that is playing in the A-Plus Classic on Hoop Fest weekend, June 30th. You can get your tickets at ticketswest.com. Spencer, you're a big guy. Do big guys like playing in these charity games? Because it seems like little guys just jack it up from the outside.
Yeah, well, that's what's fun for us too, though. We get to steal the rebounds, and then instead of passing it to the guards with the coaches yelling at us not to take any dribbles, we could, try out some different stuff, go coast to coast, play a little point guard. So, you just gotta pick your battles and give them a little taste of what we're used to with them throwing up all the shots, controlling the ball.
The little guys try to find little lanes and throw up dunks that they might not try in games. What do the big guys try to do? Is it jacking threes? Is it maybe a hook shot from outside? What kind of trick shot or special thing would you do in a charity game that you might kind of get yelled at during a game?
The transition three-pointer has always been one of my favorite moves. Just come down 1-on-5, no numbers, and just pull one from as deep as you can get it.
In this vision, Spencer, are you dribbling the ball up, or are you spotting up and receiving a pass?
No spot ups. That's what I do when I'm playing for real. So okay. I like to have the ball in my hand.
All right, so you're
a crossover
right.
or something.
Spencer, let me ask you a question. Have you ever played for a coach that was okay with that?
them if it went in. They're always okay with it if it goes in.
Spencer, when Jamal and his guys called you and said, "Hey, we're going to Spokane. We're going to take the A+ Classic over there," as a Seattle guy, did you feel I got to play in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's last year when the idea came up from the initial stages. It always sounds a lot better on paper early on before you have to worry about all the logistics. And the hardest thing, I think, is getting guys to commit and then actually getting NBA players to follow through on their commitments in the middle of the off season. But I think we were lucky. It sounds weird to say, but in the situation last year where there was a lockout, because a lot of guys had more time on their hands and they were itching to play wherever the game was. So the first year doing it at Key Arena, I think was a good message to send, and the reception that we had there, I think that was big. I think just with the significance of what that venue holds to this town, and with the departure of the Sonics, and you can talk about that forever. But when I heard the idea about doing it in Spokane and corresponding with Hoop Fest weekend, I thought that was a very creative idea on their part, and I think it's going to be fun having it in a different place and with a different fan base that isn't normally exposed to to professional basketball.
We talked to Jamal a couple of times about just the talent level that's come out of the city of Seattle, and you guys are bringing it all over here, but basically it's the same guys you'd probably be working out with in a gym over there.
It's really the same crew that 3 days a week. You can go down to Rainier Vista, where's the home of the A+ program we talked about, and find a pickup game where any given Wednesday there could be 8 or 10 pros going head to head for a couple hours. So it's going to be a lot of familiar faces and also a good group of guys coming in to take part that you don't normally see outside of the NBA schedule.
We asked Jamal about this, and I'd like to get your take on it, Spencer, about what's going on right now in the NBA with the two teams playing for the championship, and one of them being the team that you used to grow up watching, the franchise you used to grow up watching. And granted, it wasn't Kevin Durant and Michael Westbrook, but it was Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf, and now this franchise is playing for a championship in a different city. You're an NBA player. How does this evoke any emotion in you at all?
Oh, absolutely. Even though the names change, it's still still the two of the key components on that team, and Kevin and Nick Collison were guys that are that have spent their entire careers with that franchise and that played in Seattle. So, as a guy that grew up a fan of the Sonics long before a professional basketball player with a couple different teams, it stings. I just can't bring myself around to root for the Thunder in this series.
Would it be hard for you if you were traded to that team?
I don't know. That's something. I think it would be difficult, but I think the more you get into the business and understand the business side of the league, that's part of how it goes. I mean, I can't imagine that a lot of guys on the team were thrilled when they heard they'd be moving from Seattle to Oklahoma City, but the fan base there is great, and the success they've had, I think that's the most important thing when you're playing is trying to win a championship and then the opportunity now to be able to do so.
Obviously, by coming and playing in this game, the A+ Classic on June 30th here on Hoop Fest weekend in the Spokane Arena, Spencer, you feel a kinship with the guys that are playing in this charity. But when you were coming up, there were NBA guys who kept that lineage going of playing games with elite high school or college players from the area. Do you feel that same obligation to the elite high school players that are coming up, that you're there for them like guys were there for you, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's part of what makes the kind of Seattle basketball community so unique, is that the guys, and Jamal specifically, he's kind of like the godfather from this area that has taken, pretty much each and every guy at some point under his wing and kind of showed him the ropes. I remember when I was 16 years old being invited to go play with those guys up at UW and around the area, and just the confidence that, playing against guys like that gives you, and then being able to talk to Jamal and, from an early age, knowing that you had those resources around, I think, I know for me personally, it was huge. And to be able, whatever capacity it is for the younger guys now to try and pass on that torch a little bit, I think is, I think it's a great position to be able to be in.
So you do probably keep a track of the up-and-comers in Seattle, maybe do the same thing now for them?
Oh, absolutely. It's whether it's, going to their games, going to local high school games during the lockout and kind of supporting them there, or just, playing with them on, like I said, on a random Tuesday in July down at the community center. It's, whatever we can do to try and help them out. I think, I kind of feel like it's my responsibility.
That kind of sounds like it made an impression on you guys coming and seeing you play.
Oh, absolutely. I still remember a high school game we had when I was a junior where, you looked over and Brandon Roy, Trey Simmons, Will Conroy, I think Jamal might have been there as well. We're all sitting there courtside, and, you're just a sorry-eyed kid at that point watching the guys you look up to coming out to your games when you're used to being on the other end of it.
I was giving you a hard time a little bit earlier, being a Washington Husky, about Gonzaga. Was it a little tough to see that series go away? You were part of some pretty good battles there. Yeah,
I think that's a great rivalry, and with the two preeminent basketball programs in the state, hopefully down the line we can get that back going on a consistent basis.
It's the A-Plus Classic. It's coming up on June 30th in the Spokane Arena. NBA stars like Spencer Hawes will be joining us and raising money for the A-Plus youth programs. You can go to their website, A-Plus Youth Program, all one word, .org. That's aplusyouthprogram.org. Spencer, before we let you go, you got a pick in Game 4 tonight?
I don't know. I saw earlier today that Serge Ibaka threw some gasoline on the fire, so I don't know how that's going to play out. But and I think all three games it could have gone either way. I think the Heat obviously are in a better position now, and the way the finals are set up with 3 games at home to be able to close it out on their home court, I think that's an opportunity that they realize the value they have there. And I don't know though. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be close. I'm not going to pick a team.
Ibaka said that LeBron is not a great defender. Do you subscribe to that?
I wouldn't go as far as saying that. No.
Okay. Do you think it's a good idea to try to poke the bear when the bear is the greatest player on the planet?
I mean, Serge is in a unique position because he has the reputation on that end of the floor to back it up. But at the same time, you don't want to give him you don't want to give him bulletin board material, especially at this point in the season.
All right, last question. Pat's or Geno's Philly cheesesteaks?
Geno's.
Okay.
That's where we're going there. So
we get Keith and I got a trip there in a couple weeks for an indoor football game, and we're taking polls on Philly experts. So.
Yeah, Pat's is great as well, but Geno's, I like the support they get for the military and the police department and all that back there. So I give them the benefit of the doubt.
All right, Spencer. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me, guys. See you soon.
All right, we'll see Spencer Hawes and the other NBA stars in the A-Plus Classic at the Spokane Arena on Hoop Fest.